what's the deal with all these big home and home announcements? Now, today, if you missed it, don't worry, you got time to get caught up. Alabama and Ohio State announced that they are going to play a home and home series in 2027 and 2028. I think it's at Columbus, then at Tuscaloosa. And so I took those two teams. You could take several of these teams because several teams are loading up. Ohio State, over the next 10 or so years, they've got home and homes with Oregon. They're in the middle of that one this season. Notre Dame, Washington, Texas, Bama, and Georgia. Alabama, over the next 10 or so years, is going to play home and home matchups with Texas, Wisconsin, Florida State, West Virginia, Ohio State, and Notre Dame. As I said, these are not the only programs doing this. Everyone's loading up their future out-of-conference schedule. Why the change? Well, it's not necessarily an answer I want to give you, but it is my duty to give it to you. Now, I love all the games. I wish people would do this regardless. But here's what's pretty obviously in play here. It's pretty obvious that people who really make the decisions in the world of schedule making, they understand college football playoff expansion is coming. And the world in which we expand to 8 teams, I guess that's what model you're going to force me to go with. In that world, here's what it looks like. All of a sudden, the Alabamas of the world, the Ohio States of the world, they don't have to win every game. What they're looking at is they're looking at a system where you've got the Power 5 conference champions who are in, and you could play as many out-of-conference marquee opponents as you want to, lose those games, and you could still win the conference championship. As long as you do that, you're in, guaranteed spot. But also, what you're looking at is you're looking at a situation where, well, maybe you fall short, Maybe if any given year, Penn State just narrowly edges you out if you're Ohio State. Well, where do you want to be? Do you want to be sitting there at the end of the year with trash opponents, UNLV and the like, out of conference? Or do you want to be sitting there with your resume saying, hey, we barely missed out, but looks like we got a couple of at-large spots here in the playoff field, and we played Ohio State you are Ohio State. We played Alabama this year. Like, we challenged ourselves. That's where you want to be. And a lot of these programs understand the value of strength of schedule in the year 2028 is going to matter even more than it does currently in the year 2020. Now, for various reasons I've told you, I do not support playoff expansion. But one of the upsides, it's not 100% positive and 0%. It's pros and cons either way. One of the pros is this is what it took to finally kick people in the backside and get them to schedule marquee home and homes, which we always should have seen because everyone was terrified of being penalized for losing a college football game. So now, expanding the playoff, I guess, is what it took. But finally, people are maybe willing to go on the road a little bit more and give the ticket payer a little bit more for their buck.